Sixth grade math with Mr. Anderson.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and squirrels, today we'll be working with ratios. Do you remember those from last year? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, well, it's not too difficult as long as you pay attention here. So the first question you might have is, what is a ratio? Well, I will tell you what a ratio is. It's a way to compare numbers. Simple as that. It's a way to compare numbers. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, here's an example. The question's asking, what is the ratio of squirrels to acorns? Okay, so you're going to have to be patient with me here as I have to draw with a mouse, which isn't always so cool. So it matters how the question's worded. Okay, it's asking for squirrels to acorns, and that means squirrels is first here. We need to have that number first. So we count how many squirrels. There are 1, 2, 3 squirrels. So my first number is 3. Then I can write the word 2. And my next number would be acorns, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 acorns. So my ratio is 3 to 6. Okay, that's how you write a ratio. But there are actually 3 different ways we can write a ratio. So one way is with the word 2 here. Okay, 3 to 6. The other way is we write 3 when we put a colon in here. Okay, but we still read it the same way. 3 to 6. Okay, and there is yet another way, like I said, to write a ratio, and it's as a fraction. So for a fraction, whatever number's first, they're asking for first, squirrels, that goes on top. So it would be 3 to 6, or 3 over 6, like this. Okay, now eventually, you're probably going to be writing it mostly as a fraction because we've been working with a lot of fractions, and this will make life easier because you're used to fractions. Now, just like in fractions, you won't have to do this for today's IXL, but for the next days you'll have to do this. You can put this in simplest form, right? And how do we put this in simplest form? Well, you have to divide the top number and the bottom number by the same number. You have to find the greatest common factor. And if we divide the top by 3, we get 1. And if we divide the bottom by 3, we get 2. So the ratio is also 1 to 2. Now I can show you that. So 1 is the squirrels and 2 is the acorns. As you can see, we've got for every 1 squirrel, there are 2 acorns. For every 1 squirrel, there are 2 acorns. So as you can see, this ratio does work out. Okay? All right. Now let's look at this, a word problem. Aaron completes 3 passes in football out of 4 attempts. What is the ratio of completed passes to attempts? Okay. Now, again, there are 3 ways to write this. So it's asking for completed passes first compared to the number of attempts. So completed passes, a lot of times you have to go back and reread. And it's 3 completed passes, so it's 3. Yeah, it's hard to type with the mouse pad here. 3 to 4 attempts. Oh, that got crazy. Or you can write it with a colon, 3 to 4, or as a fraction, 3 to 4. Now, why would we want to do this? Sometimes you make predictions, right? So let's say Aaron's going to make 16 passes in a game. Well, how many of those would be completed? Well, if you remember from doing this before, we have to find the missing number up here then. How do you go from 4 to 16? Times 4. That looks like a Y. That should be a times sign. Let's see if I can get that. Okay. What you do the bottom, we do to the top. And so 3 times 4 is 12. So if he attempted 16 passes, if he keeps this ratio up, he'll complete 12 of them. Okay. Now, you don't have to do this today. Again, I'm just going ahead for a different lesson, the next lesson. Okay. So there are 12 boys and 9 girls in Mrs. Angering's room for math. What is the ratio of girls to students? I want you to write this as a ratio. Write it 3 ways. Don't worry about simplifying or anything. Okay. So push pause, and when you have it, we'll push play and we'll check. All right, so it's asking girls to students. How many girls are there? 9 girls. So my first number is 9. Okay. Now again, you have to read carefully because it doesn't say girls to boys. It says girls to students. Well, the boys are students and the girls are students, right? So we have to add those two. So 12 plus 9, do you know what that is? If I add those, it's going to take me longer to actually, yeah. Anyway, that would be 21, right? So there's 21 kids in the math class, including distance kids. Okay, so the ratio is 9 to 21. That's 9 girls to 21 students. 9 colon 21, or 9 over 21. Okay, does that make sense how I did that? Okay, this one's, I put another tricky one in here because sometimes they throw in some tricky ones on IXL. 7 out of 10 students prefer vanilla ice cream to mint ice cream. What is the ratio of students preferring mint ice cream to the total number of students? Again, it's total number. That's the second number. Okay, so we're going to write it 3 ways. Again, what is the ratio of students preferring mint ice cream? Why don't you try that out? Write it 3 ways and then push play when you think you have it. Go ahead. All right, so 7 prefer vanilla, which means how many prefer mint ice cream? Well, let's see. There are 10 total, right? So that's the second number. And if 7 like vanilla, that must mean that 3 like mint, because 7 plus 3 is 10. So it's 3 mint ice creams to 10 total students. So 3 out of 10, right? Or 3 to 10, 3 colon 10, or as a fraction, 3 over 10. Yeah, I miss a touchscreen or smartboard to write this on. Okay? All right, now let's look at your IXLs. So the first IXL, you just have to write the ratio. So basically, you're doing a lot of counting. Okay? So what is the ratio of hexagons to circles? Okay, so it's asking for hexagons first. Remember, hexagons have 6 sides. Okay, and they already counted that. I just need the second number. Hexagons to circles. There's 1 circle. Submit. Right? Not too bad. I'm just going to skip ahead. You ready for the harder stuff? Well, it's not that bad. What is the ratio of triangles to total shapes? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 triangles. That's my first number. And it wants it with a colon. To do a colon, you put a shift, and it's right next to the L. And then to the total number of shapes, so there's 1 other one, so that'd be 8 total shapes. Boom. Okay, what is the ratio of rectangles to total shapes? Oh, okay, that's pretty easy, right? All right, let's move on to a level. What is the ratio of total shapes to rectangles? Again, Total shapes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's asking for that first, total shapes, and then put in my colon to rectangles, and there are 6 rectangles, right? So 7 to 6. It's the ratio of hexagons to circles. There's only one hexagon, and so I type that first, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. So make sure you read the question carefully, and that is basically the first IXL. Even the challenge zone here isn't too bad. What's the ratio of squares to stars? Okay, so you just count the squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stars, 1, 2, 3. Don't have to worry about that triangle. It's not asking about it. Boom. Okay, the next IXL. It's kind of like the same thing, but now you're writing it as a fraction. What is the ratio of squares to stars? That's just a 1-to-1 ratio. For every 1 square, there's 1 star. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing. What's the ratio of stars to triangles? Stars is first, right? That's on top. Triangles is second. That's on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. So that's the next IXL. The next one. Write a ratio word problems. Okay. So this is when you have to read very carefully here. There is 1 pink bead and 42 purple beads on Gina's necklace. What is the ratio of the number of purple beads to the number of pink beads? So it's asking for purple first. So I go back up in here, and I see there's 42 purple beads. So that's my first number. And then there's only 1 pink. It's asking for pink second. So it's 42 to 1. Okay. All right, let me just skip ahead. Oh, it looks like a lot of reading, isn't it? The 6th graders at Ron's school got a visit either the Science Museum or the History Museum. 20 students picked the Science Museum, and 21 students picked the History Museum. What is the ratio of the number of 6th graders who visited the History Museum to the total number of 6th graders? Okay. History Museum first. So why don't you guys try this? Okay, push play when you think you know the answer. All right, so again, History Museum is first. And let's see, 21 students picked the History Museum. And we're comparing it to the total number of 6th graders. So that means you have to add these two, right? So 20 plus 21 is 41. Okay, so the answer is 21 to 41. All right. Okay, so you see how you have to read very carefully. So let me just skip. Find a good one for you. I don't like that. Okay. Braden's Pizzeria made 33 thin crust pizzas and 39 thick crust pizzas. What is the ratio of the number of thin crust pizzas to the total number of pizzas? Why don't you figure that out? Push pause, and when you think you have it, push play. So as you can see here, they already have the second number. They added those two for you, which means it's just asking the number of thin crust pizzas, right? Thin crust. And thin crust is 33, it says right here. 33 thin crust pizzas. Boom. Okay. All right. So that's the third IXL, and yes, there are 4, but as you can see, they're not too bad, are they? In this one, you just have to pick either this one or this one. Which model represents the ratio of 10 triangles to 1 circle? Well, just counting again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, I can tell this one's one less, so that is 10 triangles to one circle. Okay, and they'll have a bunch of those, and then they'll just say like this, which model represents the ratio of 1 to 2? So this ratio right here is 1 to 3, one circle to 3 pentagons, and this one is 1 circle to 2 pentagons, so it's this one. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, can you tell which one is 5 to 1 here? All it takes is a little bit of counting, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. Yeah. Yeah. Think of all the hard stuff you were doing this past week, and now all you have to do is count. Pretty sweet, huh? All right. So I think you guys should be good to go. All right. So good luck. If you have questions, let me know. Thanks.